Receiving a letter or notice regarding a cancellation or non-renewal for your auto insurance can make things a bit tense. But there are some significant differences between the two, and knowing what those are is very important. Here are some of the ways that you can plan on moving forward after getting a cancellation or non-renewal notice from your insurance carrier. Hi, my name is Liam, and I'm Vice President here at Joy Insurance, where we're seeking to educate our clients and others on different sorts of insurance topics that makes you a more well-rounded insured who's knowledgeable about their policy, about the different sorts of companies, different sorts of coverages, and everything in between. Feel free to reach out after this video and ask us more about this topic or other things. But back to the difference between cancellation and non-renewal when it comes to your auto insurance. So like I said, these things can be a little bit frightening at first glance when you receive a notice related to either a non-renewal or a cancellation. But there are some differences. When it comes to non-renewal, you will get ample amount of time to respond to any sort of notification, meaning that if a carrier is non-renewing you, you'll get that communication prior to your policy expiring. And if you think that there is, for some reason, an argument for why you should be reinstated and you're able to get a renewal, you're able to reach out to that carrier and see if you can justify those reasonings. Keep in mind that when it comes to most insurance companies, they deliver these notices by mail, whatever mailing address you have on file that you included at the time of the quote. So if you aren't checking your mail frequently enough, make sure you are, because that excuse doesn't typically fly with most companies. It doesn't have to come electronically. And the reasoning behind non-renewal can vary, but typically it's for things like the company is writing less auto insurance in your region, or less auto insurance this year in general, or perhaps they've actually moved outside of that market, meaning that they've discontinued their book of business when it comes to auto insurance. The last reasoning, which is probably the least ideal factor for being non-renewed, is that there have been a significant number of claims throughout the policy period, meaning that there have been accidents or violations where you've needed to seek compensation from the insurance carrier because of your driving habits and history. And if those add up enough, carriers see the insured as someone who is too high of a risk. And when your policy period expires, it ends, then the policy, you will not be offered a renewal because of those large amounts of claims. Now, non-renewal, believe it or not, for the most part, is a less concerning outcome when it comes to these notices rather than cancellation. You're typically able to find a new company that will write a policy for you, albeit it could be more expensive because of the reasoning behind the non-renewal. However, your chances of finding another company, especially within an office like ours where we have a handful of carriers that write auto insurance, is no difficult sort of endeavor on our part. We'd be happy to help out. But when it comes to cancellation, on the other hand, this is usually for more severe reasoning. The number one reason for why we see insureds of ours receive a cancellation notice is because they failed to pay the premium during the policy period, no matter the frequency. If they're paying monthly or if they pay it all at once, they have missed that payment period, and due to that fact, they received a cancellation notice. This can happen at any time during the policy period. This is a valid form of cancellation, so make sure you're keeping tabs on those payments. The next one would be they're more litigious, meaning that you've committed some sort of fraud or you seriously misrepresented oneself during the application process, and it was later discovered further down the line while your policy was in effect. Those are the main reasons for cancellation. Because of that, it becomes much more difficult to put you in what is referred to as a preferred carrier or company afterwards, because the cancellation can happen midterm or during the policy period, whereas a non-renewal will happen just whenever the current policy expires. It becomes a bit more difficult to place somebody after a cancellation, but there are other markets, just probably more excess, where you're probably going to have to pay more. However, it is obtainable to receive auto insurance after a cancellation. So those are some of the causes and the considerations for canceled policies versus non-renewed policies when it comes to auto insurance. If you have questions on these causes and outcomes and the path forward, always feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help. Our phone number here at Joy Insurance is 845-342-4888. Thanks for listening. Look forward to hearing from you soon, and make sure to recommend any topics if you're interested for future discussions like this one. Thanks.